Welcome back to the Lunch Table, Food for Thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Subscribe, like, comment, rate, do all that. We're also on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, so you don't gotta look at my face for a whole ass hour. Just on our last podcast, we had a Bay Area legend, and I think we have another Bay Area legend in the building, man. She goes by the name of Thuy. What's poppin', Thuy?
Nothing. Shit, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I think I've been internet friends with you for like 3 years or something.
Yeah, and then we finally met like at the show, and then we've been hanging out a lot, so this is kind of like natural now. We're like just talking as friends.
Essentially, dude. Like normally I'll get people who come in who like I've never met in life before, and there's always like that weird barrier that you have to break where I'm like, okay.
For sure, because they're already kind of nervous, and then they don't know you, so they're just like, what do I say?
Yeah.
So now we're just... At least we're friends.
Now we're cool.
Now we're
cool. For the record, I think the first song I heard from you wasn't on your own record. It was on like a Young Gully record.
Really?
Yeah.
That wasn't the first song I released, but that was like the first feature that I did aside from like my own team.
Yeah.
Because then I had a feature with CR Crucial. And then after that, I started to make my own music, and then I featured on Young Gully song, which was really cool for me because at the time he was like really big in the Bay. Like he was really coming up, and he still is. But that was really exciting for me. I think, was it the one that Trax a Million produced?
Probably.
That was exciting for me because I was like, Trax a Million, like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, Trax a Million's a Bay Area legend too in his own sense.
Right, so that was really cool for me.
Yeah, man, because like growing up, I used to listen to Young Gully shit just, back when I was like turfing a lot.
Yeah.
So just to like see that
crazy.
correlation, I was like, who the fuck is this Asian girl singing? Good. She's fucking tight. I need her one day.
We had like 2 songs together. I think there was one that was like Reasons, and then there was one called Love Come Down or something like that. But
I think it was Reasons.
Reasons?
Yeah, I think it was
Reasons.
a
good one. That was like new in my like career, and I wasn't really like all the way seasoned yet.
Yeah.
But it was good. I liked it.
How'd you guys bridge that connection?
Did Trax a Million produce that one? I can't remember. But if he did, so Trax a Million hit me up on like Instagram, and then we got in the studio, and then I did that hook, and then I think he was like, oh, I'm gonna kind of like shop these around to like a couple artists or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after that, Young Gully had hit me up, and he was like, hey, I was looking through a couple hooks that like Trax a Million was producing, and then I picked yours. Like yours was like stood out amongst the other hooks. So I was like super excited, obviously. And it kind of just like gave me like a little bit more of like validation, I guess, in what I was doing. And so I love that like juxtaposition, because a lot of my songs, well, some of them are like pop or whatever, but the songs that I've been making recently, or like the songs that maybe have just came out recently, as far as like The Way, it's like almost like that West Coast vibe. Mm-hmm. And so like almost like a hip hop beat, but you wouldn't expect like an R&B singer on it.
Yeah.
With I guess like the angelic voice or whatever. But like, so you don't really expect that, but I think it's cool. Like, it's almost like I like created my own little like genre. Almost.
I mean, it's like your own little lane in that sense.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
It's like, especially you who's able to like, I guess, dive into the R&B, like the hood music, and like that pop realm. Like that kind of just solidifies you as like your own being in the genre.
Yeah, and like I don't really like to like, stick myself in like one specific genre. Like I feel like I just like to do like things that I like to do. So like sometimes I like to go down that pop lane, sometimes I like to do like full R&B, or like I like to be a little bit more hip hop R&B a little bit.
Well, dude, like I already knew you could sing.
Yeah.
But then this one video of you singing "Thank You Next," I was like, fuck. She could
what the
sing.
crazy thing is like when I did that, it was because I was always just doing covers, and like I didn't think anything of it when I posted it. But then when I posted that specific one, and I was like, and Twitter's been really popular nowadays, so I was like, let me post my cover on Twitter, because I haven't ever like done that. I've always just posted on Instagram, and it went off. Like it was almost like low-key, like went a little bit viral. And so it was like cool. I was like, wow, people actually really like it. So it was almost like, okay, let me keep that in mind, of like almost like a strategy, because you don't want to wait too long for a song to be out, and then you do a cover like months later, Like I think it came at like the perfect timing almost, because like Ariana Grande was like, she was pushing shit out, and she was just like on her grind, And so like that song had just came out, and then I did it like maybe like 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
So it was fresh. It was like fresh in everybody's mind, you know? And so when I sang it, it was just like people had some type of like connection to it almost. And, you know, people like hearing like artists cover other people's songs because it's like that, I guess, familiarity. Like, yeah, exactly. Like people just I don't know. It was weird, but you also never know like what's going to catch, you know? Like I did a bunch of covers on Instagram that like do really well, but like this Thank You Next, I didn't even think it was like the best that I've done.
Yeah.
But people gravitated towards it because it was just like, she was, you know, people were looking for Ariana Grande at this time, and so it was cool.
I guess the only like caveat that comes with that is you don't want to fully be like the cover artist, because I've seen a whole bunch of people who like make their careers out of being a cover artist. What's up, Ollie, the dog? And you know, people who end up making their career as like a cover artist, they end up not getting out of that realm.
And I do see that happen a lot because like growing up, like I used to watch YouTube all the time, and I would watch like, you know, these amazing artists cover these great songs, but then like you listen to their original music and it's like there's a disconnect there, like
huge,
because you could be great cover artists, but like it's a different ball game when you're making your own music, you know? Like,
well, you can be a great cover artist, but your songwriting can suck.
Yeah, and then also like beat selection, like who you're working with. You know, you can't just like choose any beat because obviously you can sing good. So it's just like how you're doing it now. You know, it's difficult. So I feel like it's cool that I like started making my own original music first, and then I cover stuff on the side because it's just like that's not who I am, but I like to show my fans that like, oh, I could sing your favorite songs right now too, you know? It's like it just shows like a little bit of different.
And you know, that's kind of like a similarity that I draw between you and Russ Kusan, because I think with the amount of like, I guess, Bay Area remixes he does like on his shit, it's like it allows people to like gravitate towards something that is very nostalgic to them.
I think that's what it is. It's that like, and that's why like certain songs that like pull from like past genres or like, you know, past years, you know, like 2000s or whatever. So when you make music now in the present, then you kind of pull from that. It's that nostalgia that people like cling to. They like hearing like
Ain't No Fun.
Yeah, you know, or like we did what song did we do? Like On Your Line that I did with C.R. Crucial and Russ Casone. Like I think we played into I can't even remember.
Was it On the Hotline?
It was like, no matter what I do, you stay up on my line. Wait, what was it? You know, what was it?
You can talk.
What is it? What song is that? Yeah.
All I think about is
Dilemma.
You. Yeah, Dilemma.
By,
Nelly and Kelly Rowland.
Yeah. So it was cool. Like, you know, you obviously don't want to do that with like every song that you put out, but like if you mix that in to certain songs, it could be a hit because people just like things that they're familiar with, you know? And so it's like, it's cool.
Hey, man, it's good marketing at that end.
Yeah, I think so. And then once you kind of like grab those fans and like, they're like, oh, she has hella other dope tracks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I get, you know, now that you're mentioning that, like that's actually a really good formula to go by because if the first song that you do out the gate is like a remix and you have nothing else to show for, it's like, well, now you're just going to be that remix artist.
Right, exactly. And I think some people do get stuck in that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, right now for me, I'm just like trying to stay as consistent as possible. Like if I put out something, like I want to like follow it up with something even better, you know? So yeah.
For sure. So let's backtrack all the way to the beginning.
Yes.
And I think after that night when we were all hanging out and shit, I couldn't help but think the next day like fucking
What? I can't remember.
Newark.
Yeah.
Oh,
Newark.
He was like,
shout out to Newark.
Shout out Newark. Shit.
And you know, Newark is in the Bay Area.
Newark, California, baby.
But it's like, because I was fucking around because I was saying like Newark was like right here and the Bay's like right here. It's like right on the...
Where's Newark? Newark's not. I don't know. That was crazy.
Newark ain't the Bay. Nah, it is.
It is.
Everybody in here is from Newark except for me and Ange. FYI.
Don't talk shit. Get on you. No, I'm just kidding.
So growing up in Newark, what was that like?
Man, I don't know, cause like my family, we like moved so much. So I like was born in Stockton. I don't really rep it, cause I don't. Yeah. I was a child, you know, and then I like moved from there to Oakland. Then I moved to Union City, and then we finally like settled down in Newark. So I lived in Newark for like from 6th grade till now. Like we're still living in that house. So how long is that? Like
that's crazy.
I don't know, years.
That's like
almost
since
like over
12.
over a decade or whatever.
21, so.
Yeah. So, it was great because obviously like living in the Bay itself is diverse, but I feel like Newark is also like, I don't know, it's just like a melting pot of people and like cultures and like growing up, there was really never any, I mean, for myself, I didn't feel like I was an outsider, you know, I felt like I belonged there. And when I went to high school, like it was easy, you know, because I know I hear stories about people going to schools where it's like they just don't feel like they belong or like they felt like an outcast and all that. But I felt like Newark, I don't know how it is now because, you know, I feel like it's way different. Yeah, different times. But I don't know, like it was cool. I don't have any issues about it, but
What were you doing were you singing in high school?
You know, I was like very into like the books, you know? Like I was trying to be like when I was in school, like my end goal was to do something that would like make my parents proud, aka be a doctor, do something that's like they could brag about, right?
Shout out Asians.
Right. It's like that tiger parents, you know? But I've always loved to sing. Like I was in choir and like, you know, I was doing solos at shows and stuff like that. But I wasn't like serious about my music, you know? But I can remember since like 3 years old that I wanted to be a singer. Like, I swear to God, when we were living in Oakland, like, I would be on the stoop, like, singing. And, like, I just remember always singing karaoke with my parents because my parents are, like, huge karaoke singers. You know, they do it, like, every weekend. And they're, like, blowing my ears out. So now I don't even, like... So now living at the, like, studio, that noise doesn't even bother me because I'm just, like, used to, like, crazy Asians and, like,
singing
loudness.
All the damn time,
yeah, exactly. But, like... So growing up, like, my parents were, you know, always singing and stuff. And then, like, I remember hearing, like, Britney Spears and, like, Christina Aguilera for the first time.
Baby, one more time.
Exactly. And it was, like, that... I wanted to, like, resemble her so bad. And I wanted to, like, you know, copy all her runs. Or, like, I just wanted to be the next Britney Spears, you know? And so, like, throughout, like, junior high and, like, high school and college... Like, yes, I was studying and I was trying to get to that, like, you know, have a real career.
Yeah.
But, like, in the back of my head, like, I knew that I loved to sing, you know? Like, I'd always sing. Like, it was just something that I always did. But I didn't really have the right people at the time that was, like, pushing me to do that. It was almost just, like, a hobby and, like, oh, she could sing, you know? But then it wasn't until, like, I graduated from college that I met CR.
Which college?
UC Santa Barbara. Yeah.
Damn.
Go Gauchos.
Yeah, UC in here.
Yeah. So, like, you know, I was always, like, into the books and stuff, and I always thought I was going to be, like, a pediatrician. And then things just kind of, like, took a turn a little bit. So when I graduated college, I met CR, and then he was making music for, like, forever. Like, in Newark, he was, like, you know what I mean? He was that guy. Like, he was like, a rapper. He was dope. And we ended up just dating, and then... it wasn't like in the beginning though. It wasn't like, oh, you could sing, hop on a track, you know? Yeah. It was just like, I was seeing that he was going to the studio a lot. So I would kind of like, you know, tag along a little bit. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I sing too, you know? And then we tried to make a couple songs, ass. And then we made Hands on Me. And it was like the first song that really just solidified this passion, you know? And I was like, this is what I want to do. And I was still like, you know, working in the medical field at the time too. And so I was doing this on the side. In the beginning, the first year that I was doing it, it wasn't like serious, but it was fun. It was a hobby still, you know? And Hands on Me came out and it did amazing. Like for my first song, it got on 106 KMEL. It was played like a couple times. Like that shit was tight for me, you know, because it was like, whoa, I wanted to be a singer, and now like my song was being played on the radio. And then after that, we just started to like make more music, but it wasn't like, oh, this could go somewhere. It was just kind of like fun, you know, at the time. And then it wasn't until like the beginning of last year, or was it like 2018 before 2019, or 2018 going into
2017
or 2017 going into
yeah,
18? Sorry, the years are getting mixed up. But it wasn't until that moment, and I was like, okay, I've been at this for like 3 years now. What do I want to do? Because I can keep going in this medical field and like potentially be a PA, because at this time I changed from wanting to be a pediatrician to being a physician's assistant, because I was like, okay, that's going to be more flexible for me. I'm going to have more time to make music and all of this. But then I was like, is this really what I want to do? You know? And so I was like, okay, like literally I took a step back in my mind and I was like, I need to make a decision right now. Like, do I want to go into music full time, or do I want to keep working in the medical field?
So how did you get to the deciding factor?
I don't know. Like, it was just, I was getting tired at my job, you know, because it was like I was working 9 to 5. And then after that, I'd go to the studio and then, you know, trying to promote yourself and like videos and blah, 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 blah. It was a lot on me, like mentally, you know, and I was like, why am I wasting all of my energy on somebody else's dream when I could be working on my own dream, you know? So
when you say somebody else's dream,
in terms of like working in the medical field, trying to like, because I was doing social media for them at the time as well, and I was doing like so much for them, love them, but also it was like I was expending so much energy into helping them get to that next level.
Gotcha.
And I was just stagnant at that point. I was working really hard though, you know, like on my music and everything, but I felt really burnt out. So then I took that moment to really take a step back, and I was like, yeah, music has been what I've been passionate about since I was 3. Like throughout all of these career changes and school and everything, the common theme was that I loved music and I loved making music. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take this leap of faith and just do it. And so like, it was like a 6 months of deliberation of us thinking like, do we want to like move to LA? Is this like our next move? And then we were like, yeah. So that last 6 months, we were like, okay, we're moving to LA, the beginning of 2019. So it was just like, it was a huge step that I made and a huge pivotal moment for me. But also like being here now, I feel wholeheartedly that it's like the best decision that I've ever made, you know? And like, thankfully, my parents are so for it. They're not like, no, you need to go and like, you know, be in the medical field and you need to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. They're like, yeah. The other day not the other day, but like the last time I went back to the Bay to talk to my dad, we were just driving in the car and then, you know, I was talking about like money and like music and how I can make that happen, you know? And he was like, I'm so happy that you're doing that. Like, this is really like, I'm so happy that you're doing that, you know? Because like, my dad loves to sing too. And I think in another life, he would have wanted to maybe pursue like, you know,
I mean, that's probably why he was doing karaoke every week.
Right. Yeah. Like, he's a great singer, by the way. But yeah, like it was like a great moment for me because it was almost like I made them proud already, you know? Like, I didn't need to like do all of this medical stuff to like make my parents proud. I think just seeing me happy and like seeing me do what I really love, they were like, yeah.
Well, I think especially like living in an Asian household, the hardest thing to do is get your parents' approval when it comes to this type of thing.
All the time. It's been like that since I was a kid, you know? So it was like when I told my mom that I was moving to LA first, I was like, hey, can I talk to you? And she's like, what, you're pregnant? And I'm like, no.
And that's always the first question.
It's always the first question. I was like, no, one, I'm not pregnant. She was like, damn it, you know? She's like, shit. And then I told her, I was like, hey, I'm going to move to LA and I'm going to pursue music. And she was like, okay, I'm so happy for you. And she was like, make sure that you take care of the family when you're a famous singer, okay? You know, like,
oh, wow.
Like, they were just supportive, and I think they've always been supportive in like whatever I do. Like, I think they just want me and my other siblings to just be happy.
Well, I think at one point when, you know, you noticed that you were singing at the age of 3, they've known you even prior to that, but it's like, as much as you've seen yourself sing throughout the years, they've probably seen you sing like just as much.
Right.
And that's from the outside looking in.
That's true. I didn't think of that. That is true.
Because, dude, like, I'll tell you, I'll talk to a lot of people, and they're like, yeah, you know, I just started rapping. I just started singing, like, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, I can see where, like, the rough patches come in because to a parent, it's kind of like, well, where did this come from?
Oh, yeah.
But you doing it since you were 3, it's like, yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense to them.
Yeah. I never thought of it like that. It's almost like therapy right now. That's true. Because, like, it wasn't just a sudden thing that I wanted to do. I've always been doing it. Yeah. Huh. It's weird. It's like some insight. That's cool.
Yeah, man. This is what I do. Hey, to be fair, though, you're, like, cracking out, like, all the answers to, like, everything I'm about to ask. I'm like, okay. It's either one, you've watched a lot of my interviews, or 2, you just have good PR skills.
No, it's funny because, like, when I came in here, I was like, I don't know what to talk about. And the cook, he was like, you'll be fine. You love to talk. And I was like, okay. I guess, I mean, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun right now because we're friends and I know you and I feel comfortable. But I don't know if I'd be like that with, like, somebody else. Because it's, like, some hard... I
appreciate that.
It's, like, some hard questions that you, like, have to think about at the time.
Yeah.
Like, right this moment. And so sometimes that's hard to, like, generate an answer.
I mean, what would you think that I would ask?
I don't know. Like, what made you want to start music? What? I don't, you know what I mean?
All the basic shit?
All the basic interview questions that I just, like, I'm like, okay, what is he going to ask me? How am I going to answer it? And I'm, like, staring in the mirror, like, okay, how am I going to answer this? But, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Like, I tell everybody who comes from the Bay over here that, you know, moving out from the Bay was probably the best move I ever made in my life. You've only been out here for 2 months. How's your life changed within
1 month?
1 month?
It's changed immensely. Like I said previously, like this, I feel like I just belong. And I feel like this is where I need to be to elevate myself to that next level. And I've been more productive in this month when I'm not working a job than when I've been working a job and working on music. Like, I have been doing so much, and, like, music-wise, I've made so many songs already in, like, a month. So it's just, like, it's exciting to me because it's, like, I can't wait to see where I am in, like, 4 months, 6 months, you know what I mean? At the end of the year. Like, I'm excited for my fans to just, like, hear all the music I'm making. Because I know, like, every song I release, the next day they're like, okay, I'm ready for the next one. And I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm working on it, you know? Because, like, when I was working that 9 to 5, it was, like, I couldn't be at the studio every day. But I needed to work that 9 to 5 to fund my studio time, you know? But now it's, like, I've put my all in just doing this full time, you know, so I don't have to do my job and then do this. So
then how are you channeling the, I guess, monetary gains for studio time?
I'm working with an amazing team, let me tell you. Like, we are all just trying to get to the top, and so it's just been great to just work with people who believe in you and who want to help you get there, basically. But also streaming, you know, like Spotify and Apple Music and all of that. Like, I'm definitely making a good amount where I can, you know, be comfortable for now. But yeah.
I think it's rewarding to know that, like, when it comes to you moving down here as a team and then you having the ability to just not necessarily live comfortably, but, like, you know, do what you need to do. Like, just through, like, your music alone, like, that's hella rewarding.
It is. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Every day, it is a little bit of, like, I have anxiety because I feel like I'm always, like, on the edge, you know? And it's, like, I have to keep holding myself back and keep, like, holding myself accountable, you know? And it's, like, what I mean by that is that, like, I can't just let up, basically. You know, I have to hold myself accountable to the things I want to do. So if I want to make a song, it's going to be on me to push other people to want to do it, you know? Otherwise, it's just going to fall through the cracks, you know? And so it's like me keeping this motivation to keep others motivated as well. So
how do you keep that motivation, though?
I'm not going to lie to you. It is difficult sometimes when you're not releasing music at the time, but my fans are honestly so amazing. They send me, like, the sweetest messages, and I just feel like, you know, I get a couple hate comments here and there on, like, YouTube and stuff, but for the most part, everybody has been so supportive. And so it keeps me wanting to like release stuff for them.
Is there like any particular comment that sticks out to you on the positive note?
On the positive note?
Yeah.
Just like,
because let me tell you, like, she has some crazy ass fans. When we had the show back in San Francisco, and I will reference this forever, she had 2 girls twerking in the front on each other, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
That show was so amazing.
That shit is
you
crazy.
Guys. Literally, like, up until then, though, like, the shows that I've had have been great, and it's been, like, you know, putting in the reps, you know, to get yourself comfortable on stage and stuff. But that show, like, really gave me the confidence that I needed and the validation too, because I saw people in the crowd singing my songs. Like, they knew the lyrics. I saw a girl crying when I was singing Never Yours. Like, that is like such a surreal feeling to me, because it's like on such a small scale, but it gives me hope for the future, you know? It's like, wow, this can be so much more. Like, I just want to keep going.
Well, if you think about like how big your fan base is now, and you're able to get just random people who you've never seen singing your shit, like, and if you keep on applying what you're doing now, it's like later on, like, you know, 1 person becomes 10 becomes 100, then 100 becomes 1,000.
Exactly. It's always like, oh, I heard about you through this, and, you know, it's just cool. It's honestly mind-boggling to me a little bit, because there's a lot of artists who are great, who deserve shine too, you know? But for whatever reason, they don't catch on. And like, I make great music, but at the same time, like, other people out there are making great music as well, but they're not getting the fans, you know? So it sometimes makes me wonder, like, what am I doing differently? Or like, what, I don't know. I'm super blessed, and I'm so grateful for that, because without them, I don't know if I would continue to make music or if I'd be here right now. You know, it would maybe just be a hobby. I don't know.
Well, I mean, when it comes to anything in the entertainment industry, whether you're an artist, you're a producer, whether you're a radio personality, whatever, you literally have no job without the people who are outside of, like, the studio settings.
Right. So without them, I don't think I would have made that, like, jump to move here. You know, I'd probably just still be in the Bay, like, trying to garner these fans, you know? But they are the reason why I'm here, because I'm like, yeah, I could do this, and I could make this a living.
You know, going back to the idea that, like, once you release a song, your fans are already, like, gravitating toward it, and then they're like, oh, when's the next one?
Yeah.
Does that put a lot of, like, pressure on you to feel like I need to just keep on making this, or, like, does it kind of, like, tire you out?
It doesn't tire me out, but it puts pressure on me, and I work really well under pressure. Like, I love the pressure because it keeps me on my toes. And if I didn't have people saying, we want another song, we want a Thuy EP already, you know, it wouldn't push me as much without it, you know? Like, I feel like with those comments and stuff, it makes me want to push out more songs for them, because I'm like, wow, like, you guys like it, you know? So it's like, it's cool. Yeah, without them, like, saying that, I wouldn't be, like, pushing out as many songs as I do, you know? So I don't think it's tiresome. I think it's good. I think it's good pressure, you know?
That's good. With the amount of content that you do have, though, how come you don't have, like, a Thuy EP or, like, a Thuy album?
Because every song I do, I just want to release it. I'm like, it's so good. I can't wait. I just want to release it. Like, I could. And I think this year I could more. So, like, when I was in the Bay and I was just not recording as much, almost, like, I would have, like, you know, maybe weekly sessions where, you know, you try to finish up like 1 or 2 songs and then you come back. It didn't allow me enough time to release a lot of songs or have a repertoire of songs that I could choose from to possibly make like an EP or whatever. But now, like, I've made so many songs in the span of a month already that, like, the songs that don't work out as singles could be a part of an EP.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's possible. Like, maybe by the end of the year. I don't want to make any promises, but maybe. I don't know. You know?
Like, I feel like the way you release songs, like, kind of goes with how your everyday life is. Like it just seems like it's very spontaneous.
It is.
You just have little bursts of energy.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, by the way, my song's out. You know, like I don't really like promote it up until then. Just kind of like, oh, surprise, the music video's out. Surprise, I have a song for you. And like, surprisingly, it does really well still. Like without like the crazy promotion up until or the suspense up until, you know, I feel like when you just drop it on them, it's, I don't know. If it works, it's gonna work anyways. You know, if you put it out in the universe, you never know.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, so it's like just do it. You know, it doesn't matter with the time, how much. I don't know. If it's a good song, it's gonna do well.
It's gonna gravitate towards people.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, working with people like Trax a Million, once again, like mega producer.
Yeah.
And like people like Young Gully, who not a lot of people know, but is really big in the Bay. Like, are there any other like Bay Area artists that you have been working with where you were just like, oh, I never thought this would happen?
I can't think of it right now, but no. The other artists in the Bay? Not really. No.
Anybody else showing love?
Anyone else?
Is anybody like in the Bay showing love?
Not really, but it's like. But it's like people are catching on though, you know? Like people know of somebody who knows somebody that like, oh, that I've heard my music. But I think it's almost just like as much as I'm waiting for my time to pop off, like they're kind of waiting to see maybe as well. Like, oh, let's see where she gets, you know, before we kind of reach out.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I feel like that's not really my goal, you know, is, you know, to like, it'd be great to
be a Bay artist.
Right, but I think it's great to like get support from like local Bay Area artists, but at the same time I'm just doing me, and like if that happens, and that's super cool, and I feel like that's genuine, you know, rather than me commenting on all their stuff like, hey, check out my stuff, or you know.
Yeah.
I just feel like when it's natural and it's genuine, it's just like it's special.
Yeah. Well, because I think a lot of people try to translate the idea that like social media is here, and in order for me to be popping, I need to be like social media popping type of shit. So then that's why we get these comments where it's like, oh, you're dope, blah, blah, blah. Check out my music too.
Right.
It's like, dude, like you don't have to be social media popping, but like, I think the difference I see between you and a whole bunch of people is the fact that like you can actually impact people in real life. Yeah. And I've seen that happen like firsthand.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. Like, I've seen reaction videos on YouTube, and I've seen...
you get reaction videos?
Yeah. It's weird. They can't say my name
cool.
right, though, but it's fine.
How do they say it?
Thuy. Thuy. It's Thuy, guys. Twee. Well, that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, I get the weirdest things, but they're so sweet. I'm like, I'm just a little girl from freaking Newark, you know? Like, but music travels so far. Like, that's amazing to me, you know? Like, I can make music in the Bay Area, and this shit is going as far as France or, like, the UK or is Australia the same as UK? No, it's not.
No.
Sorry. No. Yeah, like, it's crazy to me, honestly. Like, I never thought that this would happen. I never thought people in freaking Australia would hear my shit, you know? But it's happening, and it's cool.
Yeah.
I know.
One big person from the Bay who's also impacted like music as a genre, J Main.
J-Main, yeah.
You work with him a lot.
Yeah, that's my guy.
What's it like working with him?
It's really good. Like, he definitely pushes me to think out of the box and to not do things that I normally would, you know? I was telling him that yesterday, too, because I feel like we make really good songs together that I normally probably wouldn't have done if he wasn't there to help, you know, produce it or whatever. But it's been really good. Like, once he hears, like, a melody that I'm doing or, like, a phrase that I'm saying, and then he gives me that, like, green light, then it's done from there. It's basically like, oh, yeah, we got a hit, you know? So it's really good. He definitely lets me, like, have creative input, and, you know, it's been really fun.
So he kind of just, like, guides you in, like, particular directions once you have, like, an idea down.
Yeah, definitely. And then he kind of just lets me, like, do whatever, honestly, you know? I work a lot with CR, too. Like, me, CR, J Main, we make, like, really good songs together. Me and CR, like, we'll write together. Like, 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, and me and Jay already have, like, 2 songs together, you know? So he's produced those, and he's just kind of guided me. He kind of has that like idea of what it's going to sound like already. So then he's like helping me say things a certain way to make it get there. I don't know. Like he's definitely helped me a lot in my career.
With all like the good stuff that happens, do you guys like ever like bump heads?
No, not really.
It's just all good.
It's all good. Yeah. Shit. It's good.
All right.
I'm definitely, he helps me get to that next level, you know, like out of the box, not stuck in my usual melodies or cadences that I would normally come up with. So it's like, it's cool, you know, because then it gets my brain going and I'm like, oh, I never thought I could make a song like that, but this shit's dope, you know? So
I feel you.
Yeah.
Being like a female Asian American and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever get like any, I guess like let's say you have like a studio session, right? Mm-hmm. Do you ever get just like pushed to the back burner because you're like a female in this thing?
I haven't ever like experienced that yet. 1, being a woman, 2, being Asian, you know? I don't think I've experienced like being pushed aside or whatever, because I've only worked with people that want to work with me, you know? And I think that's like the biggest thing. Like I'm never going to fake it, and I'm never going to fake liking your stuff just to work with you to get clout or whatever, you know?
Gotcha.
I'm going to work with you because I've listened to your stuff and I've liked it, you know? And I think that we can make something dope together. And so the people that I surround myself with have all loved what I'm doing, and I love what they're doing, and it's just like natural, you know, to be there together. So no, I don't feel like I've been pushed aside. I feel like more so they like, let's hear what you have to say, you know? So that's cool. Like they've let me kind of just flourish and just come up with ideas no matter how weird or crazy it could be. And yeah, it's been good. I think just surround yourself with like people who want to work with you. Yeah. And you'll be good.
I think a lot of newer artists think that like once they get the cosign from somebody who's already popping, right? It's like that'll easily get you streams, but then I feel like the connection there just like isn't necessarily there. It's kind of just like a one-time thing.
It's like, yeah, it's like a transaction almost. Like you're not.
Yes, that's a perfect way to put it. A transaction.
Like you're just, I don't know. What can I do to help you, and what can you do to help me? Like I'm trying to build like genuine relationships with people, because at the end of the day, I want you to show me genuine love, you know? I don't want you just to show me love because we did a song together and we're not even like really friends, you know? Like I feel like just be you and just be genuine, and you'll attract the like-minded people, or, you know?
So then, not knowing like who could be as like-minded as you, who are like some people that you would want to work with?
I don't know.
It's always a hard question.
It is a hard question, because
always a hard question.
Like, 1, you feel like you don't want to leave anyone out, and 2, do you like reach for the stars, like people who are like,
well, let's
right now?
let's cut off Drake. Obviously, I mean, who wouldn't want to work with Drake?
Yeah. I don't know.
Let's cut off a Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Because that's like, you know.
Right.
Let's cut off like the super big names.
You know, the weird thing is like, aside from like Ariana Grande, I don't really listen to, I don't know, can you guys vouch for me that I don't really listen to music? Like, I'm not really like, not even, like, I just don't really listen. I do listen to pop music, like, when I'm working out.
I don't know, man. You remember when we were playing beer pong? We were playing some bass shit, and you're like, yes, the guys are gone. Now here's all my pop music.
So, yeah. So, the thing is like, I play, like, a pop playlist, but I don't really know the artist. You know? I just like the way it sounds. So, I'm not like, oh, this artist I want to work with. So, I hate that question because I don't know. I can't pinpoint an artist that I would like to work with.
I guess it just comes down to, like, when you hear somebody, it's either you're with it or you're not.
Yeah. Like Kehlani. I would love to work with Kehlani. She's from the Bay. She's dope as fuck. We can make something cool, you know? Like, I feel like we're kind of in the same lane, but different enough that it wouldn't mesh all as, like, you know, one sound. I don't know. I can't think of anyone
Well,
else.
I mean, I think it's interesting that you say Kehlani too, because she's like one of maybe like 2 or 3 people who've actually paved the way for people from the Bay to actually like get out and expand.
I agree. And it's cool. I'm like, I want to do that, you know? I think she's super genuine, and I think she's like herself fully. And not that I aspire to be that way, but I look at her and I'm like, go you know? Like, you have not changed since I've seen you perform at Hyro Day. You know, like, she's stayed the same.
You saw her back then?
Yeah, I saw her back then. Like, she's dope as fuck, you know? Like, I just love who she is as a person, and she stands up for things, and she doesn't, I don't know, she's pregnant right now, and she's still going strong.
Yeah.
You know, like, she's definitely an inspiration.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's moments like that don't directly inspire you, but you kind of like just keep in the back of your head. And you're like, yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah, definitely. I do think that when I, like, you know, hear her music, I'm like, I could do this, you know? Like, this is tight. Like,
so, Thuy, 2019, you're not sure when a project's going to come out or anything like that. So then what's the next move?
For me, it's just being consistent and releasing singles. Like, I had a couple setbacks in the beginning of the month, like with the move and everything, no excuses. But my goal this year was to release 15 songs and then to release an EP, you know? It's almost March, and I haven't released a song in January, February, so I feel a little bit of a setback there, but my goal still remains the same, you know? I'm going to try to get there, because if I don't, I still have like 10 songs I released this year and then an EP. Like, that would be awesome. But yeah, my goal is just keep pumping out singles and possibly an EP.
Possibly an EP. I need that.
I want to, so I'm going to just say it. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Speak it into existence, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, that'd be cool. And I think people need it, you know? Like, at this point, I've released, like, maybe 15 songs already. I feel like my fans deserve at least a 5-song EP, you know?
Well, I think it goes back to when we were talking about the pockets, in which how long you have up until you can release something. So, like, the Ariana Grande Thank You Next cover you did was like a 2-week span before the song was, after the song was out. But I feel like if you keep on releasing singles and the fans are demanding some sort
and
of
then
EP,
it's like, oh, I've already been working on it. Here you go, you know? Then it's not, then that's why being here is great, because then I'm pumping out all these songs that could possibly be put towards an EP, you know? And so when I'm releasing all these singles, it's like, oh, this is a perfect time for an EP. Guess what? I have all these songs, and guess what? It's ready for an EP. So that'd be cool.
it would be cool.
2019 is going to be a good year. I can
It
feel
really
it.
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
for
Amen
sure.
to that. It's a
Yes.
good year.
Oh, shit. Sorry, Mike.
It's all good. I think we need another special guest in here, too.
Yeah?
Ollie?
Come here to mama.
Dude, what a good dog. He just ran straight to the camera.
You guys, this is my pride and joy. He's like, man, he uprooted his whole life, his childhood, to come be with his mom. And
Ollie, how do you feel about your mom making music?
tell him, baby. How do you feel? Do you like it here?
Ollie, when your mom's making music or is away, like, how does that make you feel?
Good answer, babe.
Okay,
Good
Ollie.
answer.
Ollie, will you be on Thuy's next EP?
Tell him.
All right, Ollie, give everybody your Instagram account.
Fries and no salt, please.
There we go. Shout out Ollie, man. Everybody clap it up for Ollie one time, man. You feel me?
He's a real star. He's like, he'll be in the booth with me.
You know, it'd be tight if you actually brought Ollie out to every single show.
Yeah. That'd be tight.
It'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, if I'm already singing with him in the booth, like, I need to, like, sing with him, you know? Because
Yeah.
he'll give that same emotion. Yeah, but he's so funny. He'll, like, pop open. I'll go in the studio, and then he'll, like, follow me and open the door and then want to come in with me and, like, lay next to my feet. He's so cute.
Has he, like, messed up a recording process for
Yeah.
you?
Once, right?
More than once.
More than once.
He's barked once, or, like, he shaked really fast, and so his little thing here made noise, and we had to re-record. But he's been Good.
As a producer, though, Cook, you need to sample that
right.
shit. You need to sample it. And be like,
Like
I got this dog noise type of shit.
Right,
Yeah.
let me tell you. Shit.
Well, Thuy, where can everybody find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at Thuy Music. That's THUY Music. If you want to follow me on Twitter, just see, all the banter going on or whatever, it's Thuy Music _ There's already a Thuy Music on there. I tried to message her, but she's inactive, so... yeah, Twitter, if you're watching this, can you please give that back to me? That'd be awesome. But yeah, follow me everywhere. Thuy Music, Spotify, Apple Music. You just search Thuy, THUY. Yay! Thank you so much, Lunch Table.
This is the Lunch Table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Thuy, thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Love you guys. Mwah.